There's a couple of things that we want to go ahead and just address today before we get started. One of the things is how to submit a deal. What's very important is to be able to use the tools that we provide you. Very important, make sure that you're logging into the community, the Mighty app. Make sure when you sign up to go through the tutorial, go through the roadmap, go through the information that we've put together for you in order to ensure your success. Our CRM system is included in your membership. Yes, 1,000 intent leads are also included in the CRM system. However, remember, the leads are intent leads. I just want to make sure that that's clear. These are not Google leads. These are not SEO optimized leads. These are not Facebook leads. And the reason why is because those leads, if you've been in the industry, you know that those leads, there's no way you're getting 1,000 leads of those for the membership that you pay. Okay? So I want to make sure, and I can't stress it enough, to make sure that we set the proper expectations for you for when you're calling these clients. Understand how to approach these leads. Very important as well is setting up the triggers that are within your CRM. If you haven't done so yet, book the one-on-one with our back office so they can go ahead and walk you and show you how those triggers work and assist you in setting them up. Our team is available for you, but only if you take the first step to go ahead and make that happen, right? Take the first step to ensure your success. That's very important because we can give you all the tools in the world, but if you're not watching the videos, you're not doing the minimal, taking the minimal steps that you have to ensure your success, you're not going to be successful. I can give you the best leads in the world, but we have to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, so I want to make sure that we set the proper expectations as far as to CRM, leads, and process. For the CRM, as I mentioned before, CRM is Brokers Connection. Set that up specifically for the programs that we have in-house. They also set reminders, notes. You can call within the system. You can even text in the system. So the CRM is actually a very powerful tool that you use to keep track of clients, because if you're speaking to 100 clients on a daily basis or dialing 100 numbers on a daily basis, it's impossible for you to follow up with clients. Let's assume 30% of those clients turn into applications out, or someone that's interested, someone that filled out an intake form and said, yes, send me the application, or showed a genuine interest. You want to make sure that your CRM follows up. So setting up the triggers, setting up reminders, setting up follow-up texts, setting up follow-up emails, that's very important within our system. The second thing that you want to go ahead and make sure that you do is understand the different lead sources. As I mentioned before, we would love to give you the best leads out there, correct? But I'll be honest with you, those best leads out there come with a price. Glengarry Glen Ross, if any of you have seen that movie, right? You want the Glengarry Glen Ross leads. Those are supposedly the best leads. In the movie, those were the best leads, qualified leads. But they are pretty costly, and we have no problem providing those to you. But for those type of leads, there is a fee that's assessed to it because of all the marketing that goes into it, all the systems that go into it, and the tools to be able to make that happen. Some of our systems are even AI generated in order for the conversion ratio to increase. So there's an intent lead. An intent lead is a lead that someone went on the computer, pulled up how to get a business loan, or put up with a keyword is business loan, business funding, term loans, lines of credit for businesses, business lines of credit. Those are all trigger words that went ahead and generated what are called intent leads. There was an intent to go ahead and request some sort of information or find something out about a specific program. That's what you're receiving. So when that type of conversation is not, hey, Mr. Jones, you were looking for money for your business. I'm giving you a call. They're going to say, hey, I never spoke to you. I never filled anything out. I don't know who you are, right? So understanding the lead so you can cater the pitch around it. One of the good things, and those are still great. Intent leads, if you know how to work them correctly, are the best leads because the client is not just saying yes to everyone, and the client now is only exclusively sending you the documents that you need. They're not shopping around, and that's very important. Those are better than clients that filled out an intake form because you said something to the client that made them want to do business with you. Okay? And a lot of the intent leads is you're selling yourself, but you're selling the product. Right? Mr. Jones, good afternoon. Mr. Jones, how are you? Jose Martinez, listen, I'm just giving you a call because you showed an interest at one point, some type of program. I think you were looking for business lines of credit, business term loans, or revenue-based financing options. Did you go ahead and get the money you were looking for? Right? You want to be able to ask them questions that you already know the answers to, or that you can guide them so that you get the answer that you want. Right? Because if I ask you, did you get the money that you were looking for? Your only answer should be yes or no. Did you get the money you were looking for? Yes, I did. Okay, perfect. Was it enough money? Right? That's the next follow-up question. Was it enough money? Why? Because I want to be able to guide the client into letting me know if they are needing money now, and also too to be able to ask all the questions to make sure that I didn't miss a certain step, right? Did you get the money you were looking for? Yes, I did. Okay, was it enough money? No, it wasn't. If it wasn't enough money, okay, so tell me, what type of program did you get? They told you already they got the money. What type of program did you get? Oh, I got one of those cash advances. Okay, well, what's your credit score? That's one of the biggest questions that a lot of people miss because, unfortunately, in this space, everyone wants to submit a deal for a cash advance. If you send me a bank statement, 4 months bank statements and a one-page application, and I can come back with you in an approval within an hour or two, and then present the approval to you, and by tomorrow morning you have the money in your account, and then we get paid, let's call it by the end of the week, who wouldn't want that type of product, or who wouldn't want to sell that type of product or present that type of product? A credit score, or some of these programs really don't look at the credit score because it's all revenue based. There are lenders that don't care about the credit score. All they care about is what revenue you're bringing in. All right? So getting back to what I had mentioned before is understanding what an intent lead is. Now, leads to closing. Great system that we have. A company that we go ahead and do business with, they go ahead and also assist and provide special pricing for our affiliates. Okay, now, Google word searches, Facebook, Facebook leads. Those are leads that are available to you. Now, those type of leads are people that went on the computer and filled something out. That's different because now that's more of a warmer conversation. If you're new to the space, the best way for you to get started is for you to join follow the roadmap to $10,000, because that's going to go ahead and put you into groups. That's going to go ahead and open you up for conversations, as opposed to getting a cold lead. It's going to be much warmer. All right. So Facebook, we do provide Facebook leads. Those are much easier to interact because someone went online and filled it out. So your conversation is more about verifying and finishing the application process, as opposed to informing the client or generating the idea in their head as far as money. Because a lot of individuals that go on the computer and look up certain keywords, maybe it was something that they were thinking about. Maybe it was something that they thought about, but then read the guidelines of a bank, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, PNC, etc., and they saw that they needed to have revenue coming in. They needed to have at least 4 months of bank statements, year-to-date P&L, year-to-date balance sheet, tax returns for the last 2 years, personal and business, showing a profit. And after they read that, they were scared away. They were scared off because they don't have those documents possibly, right? Right now, unless you have an extension for 2024, no bank is looking at you, right? So if you don't have that extension, let's assume you were busy. And trust me, I know a lot of business owners that were busy and unfortunately did not get to file the extension. They are not able to go ahead and submit a documentation for traditional funding. So understanding what the client went to look for on the intent lead, but also to understand that just because they did a search does not necessarily mean that they found the answer they were looking for, does not mean that they filled out an intake form, does not mean that they filled out some sort of inquiry. But as I mentioned before, there are Facebook leads, there are Google leads, right, which are SEO optimization leads. We do have those options. Unfortunately, they're not included in the package because those are very expensive. One lead alone can range anywhere between $20 to $30, right? Then there's also live transfer options. Those can range anywhere between $15 to $20 a lead, right? So it would be impossible for us to be able to provide you 1,000 leads with what we have right now, the program that you actually signed up for. But it does not mean that an intent lead is not a great lead, okay? Because an intent lead, as I mentioned before, is a lead that the client is not shopping, so he's not getting bombarded with calls, and he is very selective as far as to whom he or she does business with. So sometimes those leads are even better if you know how to work those leads. Those particular leads are maybe more useful, or you see more success from maybe a little bit seasoned person, but still, we've had affiliates that got on the dialer, right? Downloaded the leads, did email campaigns, did text message blasts, got on the phone because these leads are verified through cell phones, and they got submissions in. So it's not always, it's not that it doesn't work for everyone, but you have to be able to put in the work and you have to set up your systems correctly. Just to summarize everything, just closing thoughts. Please, once again, as we spoke about earlier, or we addressed earlier, please make sure that you're using the affiliate links. Please make sure that you're following the process. Please make sure that you're using the resources that we provide. We're going to wrap it up. Everyone, thank you very much for today's live dive. As always, it's a pleasure. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, everyone. Take care.